Hi there everyone, and welcome to another one of Teacher Donald's Grammar Review videos. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the zero conditional. So these are sentences that start with if or when. Are you ready? Let's get started. So I have a question for you. What happens if you drop Mentos into soda? Well, what happens is it explodes. Now, in the zero conditional, we can make the sentence like this. If you drop Mentos into soda, it explodes. Now, what is the rule? So we can start with if or when, and then we use the present simple for both parts of this zero conditional. So we use the present simple form of the verb drop. So with you, we don't need the S. But in the second part, we have the result clause. So with it, we do add the S. So if you drop Mentos in soda, it explodes. So we need S on the verb explode. So we can start with if, then we have the subject, then we have the verb, so we can use the verb or verb plus S, or the negative, don't and doesn't. So this is just the present simple grammar rule for yes sentences and no sentences. Then we have a comma to separate the two clauses. And then we have the result clause, which again uses the present simple. So if you drop Mentos in soda, it explodes. Now with the zero conditional, we can use if or when. So either of these are fine to start the if clause or the first clause of our zero conditional. If you drop Mentos into soda, it explodes is the same as when you drop Mentos in soda, it explodes. So there's no difference in the meaning. So we can use if or when. Now here, it is a little bit different because we can flip the sentence around so that the if clause goes to the back. So we can start with the if clause, if you drop Mentos in soda, and then the result clause, it explodes, goes to the end. Now we can flip it around so that the result clause goes to the front and the if clause goes to the back. So soda explodes if you drop Mentos in it. Now, there isn't much difference, but there is something for you to remember. If we're starting with the if clause, you need a comma. Now, in the bottom sentence, we're starting with the result clause, and we don't need a comma, even though the meanings are essentially the same. If you drop Mentos in soda, comma, it explodes. Or, soda explodes if you drop Mentos in it. So in the second one, we won't need the comma. So remember that rule. Now, let's practice some sentences, and I want you to try and complete the sentences. I'm going to show you two verbs, and one of them will need an S, or maybe both, or maybe neither of them. So try to remember the present simple rule to finish these zero conditional sentences. Here's the first one. The two verbs are heat and melt. So can you finish this zero conditional sentence using heat and melt? And be careful, you may or may not need the S. Now say your sentence out loud. Okay, now heat is the first verb we would use. So if you heat ice up, now with you, we don't need the S on the verb. So it's just heat. Now with it, we do need an S on the verb, so melt should turn into melts. Now say the sentence after me. If you heat ice up, it melts. Okay, let's try another one. Here we have put and dissolve. Now we may or may not need an S. Can you say this zero conditional using put and dissolve? You did it correctly if you just use put, but you will need an S on dissolve. So the correct way to do it looks like this. If you put salt in water, it dissolves. Say it after me. If you put salt in water, it dissolves. Okay, let's try another one. We have put and break. Say your sentence out loud. Okay, let's take a look. In the first blank, you needed put. So when you put paper in water, now here's the it, so we need the S, it breaks apart. Say it after me. When you put paper in water, it breaks apart. Okay, let's try this one with drop and smash. Can you use drop and smash to finish this zero conditional sentence? Okay, if you did it right, drop is the first verb, and with you, we don't need the S, but in the second one, we will need the S on smash, or actually ES, because smash ends in SH, so we need the ES for this verb. Now say it after me. If you drop glass, it smashes into pieces. Good job. I hope you were saying your answers out loud. Now let's play Pick One. So I'm going to show you this sentence, and I want you to choose one of the words at the top, evaporates or evaporate. So take a look at this sentence and tell me which one we should use, evaporates or evaporate. For this one, the right one to pick is evaporates. So when the sun heats up water, it evaporates. So the water just turns into water vapor or a gas. And because it's it, we need the S on evaporate. Let's try another one. Which one would you pick? Read carefully and tell me turn or turns. For this one, the right answer is turns. When you put water in the freezer, it turns to ice. And again, there's the it, so we need an S on the verb. How about this one? Would you use take or takes? Okay, for this one, it would be take. When you take ice out of the freezer, it melts. So here we have you, and the verb that follows doesn't need an S, so it'll just be take. How about this one? Which one would you choose? Expand or expands? The correct one to pick is expands, which just means it gets bigger. If you blow air into a balloon, it expands. How about this one? Would you choose add or adds? For this one, it'll just be add. It's you, so the verb that follows, we don't need the S. When you add salt to water, the salt dissolves. How about this one? Which one would you pick? Yes, you did a good job. Now let's play What's the Question? Now at the bottom is the answer. It expands. And take a look at the red and green questions. Which one is the right one? Say the right question out loud. So which one is the right question? This one, it'll be the green one. What happens when you freeze water? The answer is it expands, or it actually kind of not grows, but it gets bigger. Now the answer is it turns into water. Which one is the question? The red one or the green one? For this one, the right question is the green one. What happens when steam cools down? Now, steam is the gas that you would see above a pot of boiling water, but when it cools down, it turns back into water. Here, the answer is it melts faster. So what's the question? The red one or the green one? Say it out loud. For here, the right question is the red one. What happens if you put salt on ice? And the answer is it melts faster. That's why they put salt on the roads in Canada after a snowstorm. How about this one? The answer is it sinks. So what's the question? The red one or the green one? The question is the green one. What happens if you put a rock in water? Now, if you put a balloon on water, it'll just float. So a rock sinks in water. And now it's time for quiz time. Take a look at number 1. Which one, A or B, would you use to finish this zero conditional sentence? The answer is A. If you put oil and water in a bottle, they don't mix. But if you shake that bottle, they will start to mix. How about this one? Which one, A or B, will finish this zero conditional? The answer is B. When you put oil and water in a bottle, they don't mix. So we could use if or when. How about this zero conditional? Now read carefully because there are 2 blanks. Would you choose A or B? For this one, you should choose B. If you put a coin in water, it sinks. So the first verb, put, we don't need the S. The second verb, sink, we will need the S because we're using it. How about this one? 2 blanks again, so read carefully. Would you choose A or B? This time you should choose A. If you boil water, it turns into steam. Okay, how about this one? Again, 2 blanks, so read carefully, A or B. This time the answer is A. If you rub your hands together, they get warm. So if we're using they, the verb that should follow does not need an S. They get warm. How about this one? A or B, which one would you choose? This one you should choose B. If you add salt to boiling water, it doesn't boil faster. Now try this one. 2 blanks again, so be careful. A or B. And this time we kind of flipped the if clause. For this one, the correct answer is B. A balloon expands if you blow air into it. How about this one? It's a question. Which one would you choose, A or B? For this one, it's a question, so we're choosing A. B doesn't even make sense. What happens if you shake a can of soda? I think you know what happens, right? Okay, try this one. A or B? This is a question. Very, very close one. There's only an S difference between the two. For this one, we should choose B. What happens if you put a banana in the freezer? And how about this one? Another question. Put or puts, A or B? What do you think? The answer is A. What happens if you put an egg in water? Good job. And that's it for this grammar review video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.